Hello, YouTube, and welcome to One Canadian Perspective. Thanks for joining me today. Definitely have to talk about what's going on in the Middle East right now. I think it should be clear that no one can trust whatever the Israelis or Americans say, especially their enemies, because for the second time in less than a year, in the midst of negotiations with Iran, both countries have attacked Iran. I mean, the whole pretense of preemptive war is insane, right? I mean, Marco Rubio. You can argue that the hostilities between Iran and Israel are much more intense than the hostilities between Iran and America. Iran poses no threat to the United States, and Marco Rubio's justification for attacking Iran was, well, if Israel attacks Iran first, Iran's going to retaliate against us, so we have to go in and attack Iran too. It's like, no, you don't. That's not the only option. Okay, the United States is the world hegemon. You guys give Israel tons of money. You could say, no, you're not going to attack Iran. We're going to allow negotiations to play out first. Okay, especially when the Oman foreign minister on the Friday before, like hours before the attack happened, came out and said that we're really close. He said that Iran had agreed to give up its share of enriched uranium, okay, and that they're really close to a deal, right? I have a feeling that he came out and said that because he knew war was coming, right? Because now that pretext of, oh, well, you know what, they don't have nuclear weapons, but they have nuclear materials, and we have to stop them from possibly refining that to become fissile material, and then they have to build the bomb and so forth, right? So a deal was close, and and the Israelis and Americans sabotaged it, right? I told my son, it's like I tell someone, I had to punch that guy in the face because I knew that if I punch him in the face, he's going to punch me back. So that's why I have to punch first, right? Or, I mean, the whole concept of preemptive attack is just wrong, and that should, that it should be condemned by everybody. Should we consider 9/11 Al Qaeda's preemptive attack against the Americans? Or should we consider Pearl Harbor a preemptive attack, a justified preemptive attack by the Japanese against the Americans? Of course not. We look back at that now. We say that no, those things were wrong. That shouldn't be done. We shouldn't be doing it now. One thing that also drives me nuts is hypocrisy. I always tell my son, it's not okay to have a set of rules for yourself and a different set of rules for others. And I mean, look at the way Israel had a ceasefire with the Palestinians in Gaza, and they continue to bomb the hell out of that place. Look at the genocide that they've inflicted over the last couple of years. They destroy absolutely everything, right? Everything's Hamas. Hamas is under the tunnels here. Hamas is under the tunnels there, right? These reporters here are Hamas. Those doctors there are Hamas, okay? Everybody's Hamas. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just, for the argument's sake, say that, sure, everyone there is Hamas, okay? Killing people, destroying everything in their area will not loosen Hamas's grip on the people. Okay, you kill my son, or if you let's just say there's a bomb, it kills my son. He's at the market buying stuff. He kills my son. You turn me into a terrorist, right? Or if you kill someone's brother or sister or parents. You just create your own problems. The only thing that solves this is diplomacy. Using force should be seen as a sign of weakness. I mean, I also find it a little bit funny that Trump in the weeks preceding whatever the hell this war of choice that we have in Iran right now, Trump was saying that, oh, we're here to support the Iranian protesters against the regime, right? Well, how are you supporting the protesters now? You are carpet bombing Tehran. Tehran's a big city, okay? You're destroying civilian infrastructure. Is everybody in Iran now part of the Iranian regime? It should be clear, if you are the West's enemy, you should get a nuclear bomb. You should get a nuclear bomb as fast as you can. We can look at Iraq, Syria, Libya. They were all attacked by the Americans because they didn't have nuclear weapons. North Korea has nuclear weapons, and they're left the fuck alone. I don't know how this ends. There's no off-ramp. I mean, look, had there... I think this was in early, like 2003, 2004, something like that, after the Americans captured Saddam, right? And Trump was like, you know what? You should just declare victory and go home, right? We got him. We got the boss. The rest is your mess to clear, right? You know what? I don't agree with killing the Ayatollah. All right. Don't get me wrong. I don't. Do I want a religious theocracy to have access to nuclear weapons? No. But who the hell am I to tell other people what they can or cannot have? Iran is a state sponsor of terrorism because they use that to keep their enemies in check. Okay, but they don't. But if you look at the history of Iran since the revolution, they haven't attacked anybody. They've only ever fought defensive wars, and instead of going out and attacking their enemies outright, they support terrorism. That's bad. Okay, that's bad. But we're not having the huge destruction that we are having right now when you have state-sponsored war. I think what makes it, as a Canadian, what kind of drives me nuts is my government's response as well. I mean, I didn't vote for the Liberals. It should be very clear to anybody the few people who consume my content, that I think that the Liberals are absolute losers. But, Carney's been doing a decent, Carney in Davos talked about, oh, there's going to be a new world order because we can no longer rely on the American hegemon for, sorting shit out. Okay? And then what do? The second the Americans attack, Carney goes, yeah, we support this. We support the Americans because, and we condemn all of the Iranian attacks on Israel, or on Israel and the Gulf states. What? I thought we needed to chart our own course away from American hegemony, right? But when there's war, we support them, right? And then he got some flack about it. So it's like, oh, okay, well, we support them, but it's bad and they shouldn't do that. Now it's, well, I can't, you know what? We have to support our allies, so I can't rule out troops on the ground. What? Or sorry, no, not troops on the ground. That we can't rule out getting involved in the conflict. No, this is not our fight, okay? This was a war of choice, okay? This was a war of choice for the Americans. For the Israelis, yeah, you know what? They're in range of the missiles and everything like that. It may be more, it may be more critical for them, but they're not our allies. The Americans went into this war. Iran is not a threat to continental America. You could say that, yes, they're a threat to, obviously they were a threat to the American bases around Iran, right? And that goes to the meme of, oh, how dare Iran have their country right next to all of these American bases, right? Maybe America should save some of that money and not have bases everywhere. But that's something else. This was a war of choice, and Canada should take a hard stance that we do not support this war. We do not support it. We will not support it at all, okay? And this should be sorted out by the people of Iran and whoever else is in the Middle East. All the affected parties, you sort it out. This is not our fight. Canada should not get involved. The Americans, if you choose to get involved, fine. But that's on you, okay? You can't invoke, you can't invoke some kind of treaty because you decide to get into this quagmire. It's just so frustrating. I joke with my son that this is why aliens don't visit us, because we fight over the stupidest things. I also hope that American allies look at how they are treating their other allies. About how for the longest time, the deal with the Gulf countries was, you sell your energy in American dollars, we will give you weapons and we will protect you. And look what's happening. They are withdrawing air defense from their allies and moving into Israel. Yeah, I get it. Israel's bearing the brunt of the Iranian missiles, but Israel attacked Iran first, right? In fact, South Korea has also said that, the Americans want to withdraw their air defense in Asia, the air defense in Asia that they have, and move it to Israel to protect that country. And I'm like, you know what? That says a lot to the Asian countries, right? In fact, again, not that I don't condone war anywhere, okay? The loss of life is absolutely unnecessary. But if the U.S. gets involved with boots on the ground in Iran, if I were China, I'd make a move on Taiwan. The Americans are stuck. They're busy in Europe. They're busy in the Middle East. Who's gonna, it's the perfect, they're taking air defense from their Asian partners. Okay? Do you think Japan or South Korea would be as inclined to get involved when they have less defenses? Maybe not. It would be the perfect opportunity for China to make a move, right? I really don't. We are led by morons. All of our politicians, they're absolutely retarded. I don't know why we can't solve our problems like adults. There are some real issues between, there are some cultural, religious, financial, these are whatever. There are lots and lots of issues between us, but we can't go and kill whoever we disagree with. I don't know where this is going to go. I really, 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 really hope that there's de-escalation and the Americans don't put troops on the ground. I think it is incumbent on us to tell the Americans and the Israelis to stop fighting first, because they started it. To hear Mark Carney, to hear the German chancellor, I think that's chancellor, right? Talk about how they condemn Iran's attacks on others, and how that they should de-escalate. I'm like, no, they didn't start this fight. The guys who started this fight should stop first. Okay, they would, if I were Iran, I said I'll stop. You know what? If I were Iran, I don't even know if I would stop. Okay, because if you stop now, it would just give time for the Americans and the Israelis to rebuild up their defenses, rebuild up their weapons and whatnot. And they're going to attack again. If I were Iran, I would make it hurt so much that the Americans never considered doing this again. The Americans are going to lose. The Americans lost in Vietnam. They lost in Afghanistan. They lost in Iraq. Because there's no exit strategy to this. Once you start a war, there's no exit strategy. You can't bomb from the air and change a government. You can't kill your way. Well, I guess if you kill everybody, sure, but generally you can't kill your way to peace. And that's what these guys don't understand. I'm not an American. It makes me happy that most Americans are against this. Anybody who supports this insane war, vote them out. Okay? And anybody who continues to support war should be voted out. All the war hawks should be voted out. They should lose their power because it's not their family. It's not their kids that are going to fight. I think it was Sen Baron was trending on Twitter, right? Baron is a young man. I think he's almost 20, okay? He should go fight. Anybody who ever advocates for war, they should be voted out because it's not their family that's going to feel the pain. It's going to be everybody else. It's going to be the poor. It's going to be the regular person's family that feels pain. I don't know how this ends. I will say I have a real worry that once air defenses do get depleted, that either the Americans or the Israelis will escalate this further by dropping some kind of nuclear device, something demonstrable, says that if something so huge that they say that if you do this, if you do this, more nuclear weapons will be deployed. I don't like nuclear weapons. I don't think anybody should have nuclear weapons. But if there are going to be nuclear weapons, maybe it's safer for everyone to have them, right? I mean, isn't that the American justification for guns? You know what? Guns make for a polite society. If everyone's armed, everyone's nicer. Maybe everyone should have nuclear weapons. This is why aliens don't visit us. Anyways, thank you for joining me. And yeah, we'll see how this turns out.